Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Haunted Hearsay. It's been a while. I'm Caroline. I'm in Donegal, as usual. I was actually going to introduce Ben down in Dublin, but he's not. Well, actually, you are in
I'm
Dublin.
in Dublin right
You
now,
are
but I
in
don't live in
Dublin.
Dublin anymore.
Yes, but from now on, it's the reason we've been off for a while is Ben's moved to Donegal to Ballyshannon, and we had to wait an inordinate amount of time for you to get your Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that's I won't complain too much. I have it now, but yeah, took a month at least to get that. So
yeah. Well, we're back and we're going to cover a few different things this time. And obviously, seeing as it's St. Patrick's Day, we'll have to do a wee mention for St. Patrick and just to cover quickly the origins of when and where he came from. And I think I always had this notion in my head that he was this Welsh guy that had been put into indentured service.
Yeah.
But no, there's seen a different story on it there now when I was online. And he was actually the son of a Roman household, a Roman Britain household. So his parents would have had Roman names. Now, from what I can gather, his was more a Welsh name. Okay. And it was raiders that had come on along the coast, and he was actually captured in his parents' villa and taken to Ireland, to Cork, in fact. And he served 6 years as a herdsman there and managed to escape. And when he escaped back to England, he ended up in indentured service there, trying to make his way back to his family, and ended up as a slave there for another couple of years before he ended up back with his family. But then it's possible that he went to Europe, most likely to Rome, to study for a while, because he lost out in 6 years of his education and had come back in that time, had found his faith. But he'd also made a lot of friends in Ireland. And the people in Ireland had literally, the people that he had gotten to know and that started to hear about him since he'd found his faith, actually invited him back. And it was really to invite him back to spread his word. And he didn't take them up on that for several years. Mm-hmm. Until he felt that he was strong enough, that he was devout enough and strong enough to take the word to the Irish people. And he was also known for a letter that he wrote in his retirement in Saul in England, Confessio. And it's basically like a biography. That's how we know that what he went through and what happened to him and how he found his faith. And so that he's well known for that. He also wrote an open letter to one of the Roman leaders who was based in England at the time, Britain at the time, condemning their treatment of Irish slaves. So, I mean, he was on anyway before coming back. Now, there's not an awful lot of mention. In fact, there's no mention of his time in Lough Derg. I can't find that anywhere online, but I know I read that years ago. Like in a book, and I know
St. Patrick's Purgatory, isn't it?
Sorry?
Isn't it known as St. Patrick's Purgatory?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But it's very hard to find anything written on it.
Yeah.
And so we've covered that before, because we've covered it because of the fact that it's one of these hellholes. Yeah, and they're dotted all over the world. These
one
things.
Time we had this idea we were like years ago, like maybe even 10 years ago, to do a podcast thing where we actually drove down to Lough Derg and we spoke to them, but they said that we have to do the pilgrimage.
That's right. I remember that actually.
And then we were like, oh, well, maybe one of us will do the pilgrimage, but not stay the whole 3 days, and the others can come collect us on a rowing boat. And we'll rent a rowing boat, go out, collect the person in the middle of the night, and they'll run away, and it'll be an adventure. But then it was high risk.
Yeah, it's not easy to get unless you're actually doing the pilgrimage. It's not like you can go out for a wander about the place.
Well, that and they won't. The condition that they'd speak to us, the people that run it, was that that we did it.
Now we know that was around the early 400s, okay. 5th century, and when he went to places in Ireland that were against Christianity coming in, he wasn't above bribing you know, a local leader or a local king, or he wasn't above bribing, but never took anything in return.
Mhm.
And so it was several years he spent going around, but he was also a lot of it was done sort of under the cloak of darkness, because there was always the high risk of him being made a martyr,
Mhm.
and being aware of that at the time because of the, you know, I suppose people didn't want to give up their old ways, you know, sort of the Druids, etc. They didn't want to give up their old ways. They weren't that just as welcoming. So, but then, yeah, I thought he lived out his days in Ireland. He didn't. He lived them out in Saul, Saul. That was the name of an area in England.
Oh, in England. Okay.
Yeah, under Roman,
England or
yeah,
Wales?
with his Roman family, he lived out his days with them. Whether they converted to Catholicism, I don't know.
That's it.
But yeah, his conversion, and there's also a link that he might have been part of the reason that the Picts and Saxons converted to Catholicism and Christianity as well. No concrete proof, but
Yeah.
a bit of a, yeah.
I don't know
So
much
that was
about
just, we had to mention St. Patrick because we're celebrating St.
the day
Patrick
that
today,
finished.
this day. And so we had to mention him. We're not going to go into the ins and outs of Loch Derog and said hellhole that the monastery is built over. Not today. Today we're going to go on to things that I'm hoping you've got a few pictures of. What do you
Yeah,
think?
well, you told me last week when we were chatting informally that you wanted to talk about, or maybe you've something new to tell me about the monuments that came up in Utah. Um, and I'll put the pictures up anyway.
Yeah.
When I was trying to get some pictures for today, I was like, oh, there's loads of monuments that have come up. The last time I checked, and I'm sure you heard something different, but the last time I checked, it was just Romania. And I'll share the screen
Well,
now.
that was what I thought as well. But then I started, have you noticed that recently all over the world, agencies and members of agencies are all of a sudden leaking sightings of UFOs to the
U.F.O.s.
public?
Yeah, I have noticed that. I've been watching things, but then
There's
I'm
an
also
excessive amount of it compared to like before. Oh, that's a load of nonsense. It's the weather balloon. It's this. It's that.
yeah.
It's like all of a sudden. It's, yeah. Well, we have identified loads of things that we don't know what it is, and
Mhm.
maybe it's time the sort of scientific community took a look at it and thought, what is this? Like, I think once they started to realize that it wasn't their imagined enemies here
Well,
on Earth.
they're now known as UAPs, which is unidentified flying phenomena. And I heard that that the Americans pick up 10,000 UAP um, records a year on their military systems.
Well, there's been I've been watched. Do you know something? There's a program on every channel every night at the moment about UFO sightings and about people that are either pilots for various sort of airlines, people that have worked in the Navy. To be honest, you are always taking what the Americans say with a pinch of salt because of all the amount of cover-ups before. But when it's happening globally, and
Yeah.
people are like, it's in Australia, it's in Europe,
Well,
it's still in Russia,
the recent one was, I'll see if I can share this.
Donegal. Yes, we had one in Donegal a couple of
God,
weeks
yeah.
ago.
There was an article in what was it? Like now it was in the tabloids, but I did see it. Yeah, here we go. Oh, maybe not. There was an article anyway that I saw. I know I live in Donegal. You live in Donegal, and neither of us saw it.
No,
But so I only read
no.
about it or whatever. But
Can you bring up
apparently
a picture of the one that was spotted over Donegal and Leitrim?
this no, I don't know if this is it. Now that looks like a
No,
military.
that is. I was actually online and I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting something that I could dismiss as being something else.
That looks like an like stealth airplane to me. But
It does, but I mean, it's the shape of it and it's the size of it. It's the sheer size of it.
yeah, Maybe it's
You know, that has taken, somebody's taken that as from their mobile.
I got this picture from the online newspaper from the reporting about the.
Donegal Daily, I think it's in this one.
It's in Donegal Daily. It was in the Sun. It was in the Star. You know, the tabloids. But yeah, no.
Before I saw the picture, I was happy enough to dismiss it as being coincidence. War starts in Ukraine, and all of a sudden we have unidentified flying objects over. We know that 3 miles off the coast here is international waters. We know that
The Russian
everyone flies over us to get to Europe, basically.
Yeah.
So I thought it was and I was absolutely ready to dismiss it as being, no, that's nonsense. And then I seen it, and it wasn't even the sheer, it was the sheer scale of it.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, there was a lot of sightings apparently of it. So I mean,
there were several hundred, I believe, altogether in Leitrim, Sligo, and Donegal, and several hundred phone calls regarding it.
There was also a video I wanted to show you.
Yeah.
And not everybody's on TikTok, and I've just started going on it, but there's actually quite a lot of good paranormal stuff and UFO stuff on TikTok once the algorithm gets to know what you like. So I found this video and I saved it. So I'll just show it to you and let me know what you think. It's UFO themed. It was on topic. It's also
okay.
It's also Ukraine themed.
I'll put my glasses on or I won't see.
Yeah, you'll need them for this, and hopefully the volume works and everything. So can you see that?
Yes.
U.F.O.s help Ukraine in war. And confuse WTF? Has some asking, are Ukrainians receiving heavenly help?
There's some miracle happened. It looked like some spaceship, like there was like an attack from the spaceship.
It was like a UFO or something. We've never seen anything like it. Just a brilliant flash of lightning in the sky, just taking over the whole sky.
There was some kind of a lightning was starting shooting from the sky, and like sparks were like spreading everywhere.
Russian tanks were supposedly wiped out by a mystery UFO attack after the families of trapped Ukrainian soldiers prayed to God to offer their troops some help.
And then on the morning, they discovered that the whole machinery was destroyed.
Yeah, it is bizarre.
And then the next morning, they woke up and they said all the equipment from the Russians was destroyed.
So, so that's it.
That's really interesting, isn't it?
Could be UFO, could be God, could be lightning, but it hit the Russians in Ukraine apparently. Could be propaganda. Who knows?
I don't know, but there seems to have been an awful lot of sightings.
Yeah.
In the last few months worldwide, and people reporting more and more sightings worldwide.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't dismiss it being from out of this world. I really wouldn't. I've gone past that stage. And there's lots of times I would have played devil's advocate and thought, oh, come on, really, what do we have to offer?
Yeah.
If anyone has the technology to travel from another galaxy into this one, they're already millennia ahead of us. Mm-hmm. What would we really have to offer them? In all honesty, with the way the world is at the moment and with what's happening in Ukraine, they're more likely to fly past us with their doors locked.
Yeah, true. Well,
but having said that, do you think it is?
Do I think it is? Well, do you know what? Yeah, I think I was saying to myself, right? So that you have the CIA or whoever in America and Congress and everything being very kind of weirdly transparent with UFO information.
Yeah.
Then you have like independent people like documentary makers and stuff have more information to work with, so they're releasing more stuff. Then you have people interested in it, so there's more programs on TV and stuff about it. And then I see that there's sightings more frequently, or maybe there was always sightings and stuff, but they're more spoken about now or something.
Well, there is, and I've actually started to see in a few of the programs I've been watching recently for this, really, they've actually started to go into sightings that the Mayans had, that the Incas had, that the Aztecs had, that African native. There are pictures that are going back a long, long time, and caves and things like that, of lights coming from the sky, of things coming from the sky. Now, personally, I believe in God, so that's never up for question. The reason I don't think it is God, and I don't think it's God interfering with this war, is because he gave us free will,
right?
And said that he would never interfere. And I don't think he will, unless he's about to call us all home, at the same time. And I don't think that's the case.
It's either aliens or it's like some sort of super secret weapon, which it might be.
My first thought is going to go to super secret weapon.
Yeah. HARP. Did you ever hear about HARP?
No.
HARP is like your favorite word, electromagnetic.
One of those, whether it's paranormal or supernatural.
Like, what is it? So the idea is that they can fire like high-powered, like ultrasonic electromagnetic
beams or pulses
anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
I think there's one in Alaska and different places. And back in the 2000s, there was a conspiracy theory that it was the Americans would use it to like change the weather and stuff like that. But that would be a cool weapon to use against.
Yes. Well, do you know something? It's true what they say, whenever things start getting leaked, but leaked quite publicly, we didn't really mean for this to come out, but it's sensationalist. You have to wonder, what is it that they're trying to draw attention away from?
Yeah.
What's going on when that you're not sort of, so it is very possible they have an advanced weapon. It is very possible what we saw, or not that we see personally, but we saw the recordings of coming over sort of Donegal and Leitrim is maybe that particular weapon. Maybe it is.
Or a drone, or that could be a drone.
Yeah, that is very, very possible. We don't know, but does it dismiss the fact that that could be extraterrestrial?
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing. Yeah, we can't dismiss the fact that,
No, we can't. It's like you look at the likes of the billionaires that are on the space race at the moment. It's, did they have inside information? Is there, what?
I'm waiting.
What do they know that
Chinese
we don't?
rover. Oh, well, did you hear that there was like a Chinese rover taking photographs on the dark side of the moon?
Really? Oh no, actually, I'm saying really, to be honest, I actually did hear that.
Yeah,
I didn't hear what happened.
But I heard that's on Mars as well. So I hope to see some cool stuff. That's like.
If you go onto the NASA sites, they've got some really cool stuff up, and they've got stuff, especially pictures they've taken from Mars.
Do they have UFO photos?
Yeah, no. It's actually what appears to be the outline. If you were looking at geophysics on a map, you would see underground the outline of what would have been buildings.
Right. Yeah.
So it's almost like a geophysics version, and they're looking down, and it appears to be, a structure that was actually
a pyramid on Mars, or no, on the dark side of the moon or something. The Chinese found something crazy. Oh no, it was a cube. It was a building in the shape of a cube. And that kind of helps us segue back to these monoliths. I'm not sure if I believe in them. I
dismissed them very quickly. Do you remember the first time we covered them?
Is that scrolling for you?
The thing is, I can see them there now. The thing is now, do you know, I'm starting to wonder now, did I dismiss them too quickly? I don't think that it would be, I think it's probably something that's computer generated, but not necessarily by us.
I just think this is, so I think the first one I heard about was in Utah, and then Romania, and then apparently in I had to do a tiny bit of research, and then it was Netherlands, Isle of Wight, and then I don't know, and then I found this map, which is, I see if I can share the map closer. It's not in English, but you can see there's a lot of different ones.
Yeah, all over.
All over. So someone went to the effort to put them all together, so that's good. But do you think
is it possible that it is some sort of drone from another part of the galaxy, or from outside of our galaxy?
What, doing the monoliths or just
Yes, the actual monoliths or some sort of drone that they come here, that it's, not necessarily operated by
I don't
anything
know
living and
at
breathing.
all. I don't know at all what they are. But I don't
Right.
know.
Well, I tell you, the reason I was going to like saying that, I was watching a program about, I've talked to you before about Skinwalker Ranch
Yeah.
in the States. There's a billionaire in America, I can't think of his name at the moment, but
Bigelow.
that's it. He's headed up this team of ex-CIA, Homeland Security, scientists, doctors. He's funding the whole thing. And they've been doing all these experiments on Skinwalker Ranch.
He owned it. He bought it and owned it for a certain amount of time, and then put a load of money into doing
Yes.
saying, yeah.
Now they're actually, I mean, the road that they were going down on when I was watching it was that that it's some sort of portal. That it's not necessarily a part, but some sort of portal, like to another part of the universe or whatever it is traveling using this portal. But what I found interesting was that at Skinwalker Ranch, the same as places that are like this all over the world, have a lot of ley lines and electromagnetic activity. That first of all was like, that's literally like that's off the charts there. But it's like they have every phenomenon.
The whole spectrum of them.
Yeah, they have everything there, so there's definitely
also like animal mutilations and cattle.
Well, they had this thing where they had this huge wolf. Apparently there was some family that had Skinwalker Ranch for a few years, and they had cattle at the ranch, and apparently the father and the daughter were out. Now he had a gun with them, and because they'd seen what they thought was a big, huge wolf, but bigger than your run-of-the-mill wolf. In fact, the one that they actually described when afterwards, and when people tried to give them an artist's impression of it, it was an animal that was extinct. But apparently it came up and it was quite friendly to begin with. So it came up like within a foot of them, but on the other side of a fence, but turned and made for the animals and attacked the animals. And he shot the wolf 3 times at close range. And the wolf stood up, looked at him, and turned and walked away and disappeared in the distance. Now they went after it, they chased after it to finish the job, and it was gone. There was no trace of it. It was completely gone. So they had a theory that it was, something that was able to come in and out of worlds. Like it's like there's some sort of like vortex there.
Or like a shape-shifting thing. Because
it was
like Native American.
Yes, there is that. You see, and the sort of the stories attributed to Skinwalker Ranch they're not just in the last, they're hundreds of years old, passed down by Native Indians. But now this is like there's this guy and he's doing it on such a bigger scale. But I mean, it's the more money he puts into it, the more what they would say authentic sort of scientific experiments to see what it is, the more confused they're getting. It's like, the more information is coming to say, like, we really don't know what's happening here.
Yeah.
There's plenty of evidence, but we don't know where they're coming from, where they're going. So I have a theory that it could be, the way like the world has certain spots we know that has lots of magnetic activity. And they're in different places. We know that they all connect as well. If you have them on lines across the maps that connect as well worldwide. Maybe they're weak spots where interdimensional travel, not interdimensional, that's not what I mean at all, where sort of beings from other galaxies maybe know how to travel through a wormhole. And this is like they would know how to sort of use it to be able to come in and out of our timeline, as it were.
Like the pyramids being like, they're all like, a lot of ancient buildings are along the same line around the world.
Well, there's like Machu Picchu and all those had the same, are in sort of sync and have the same sort of like longitude and latitude, etc., as the pyramids in Giza.
And maybe it helps ghosts come and go as well.
Well, you see, that's the thing, whether you're looking at it from a supernatural point of view, because the same areas have the exact same problem. lots of sightings, whether you think it's supernatural or paranormal. The one thing that most people are agreed on is there's definitely things happening that can't be explained in these areas, and these areas are all over dotted all over the world. I don't know. I have to wonder.
We can't know, unfortunately.
Yeah, maybe with the way things are going, maybe we'll find out before we.
Well, I hope that we don't have like an Independence Day scenario where aliens land on the White House lawn and it's not explicit. I'm happy to
I really hope they don't go to the Americans first. In fact, if anything, they should come to Ireland first.
Well, I have a funny feeling they've been here forever, for a long time, and we just
if they are, yes, then I think I agree with you.
Yeah.
I have also had that theory before. Now they know that there was excavations and archaeology work done there several months ago. I think we mentioned it to you before, where there were fossils found. I think it was in Turkey or somewhere like that. And there were, and then these fossils were a human footprint, and these fossils were carbon dated 150,000 years ago, long before, over 120,000 years before we believed man had been here before. Exactly. I have a theory that it's very possible. We know now that there were 7 different species of human that developed, whether it was the ones that walked out of the sea or developed from the apes, but there were 7 different species of human. It's very possible. And I've thought this before, maybe we were survivors from Mars originally.
Yeah, or even as well, like similarly, maybe there were humans that got to an intelligent place, and then there was a catastrophic event that made them.
That would explain Atlantis.
Then they had to start all again, and then start again 150,000 years ago, and then there was another thing, and then there was an ice age, and then maybe it just keeps starting before it gets.
I think that's possible, and it doesn't. And the more you see it nowadays, the less far-fetched it sounds.
Noah's flood. Well, the more you see the bloody climate change and the way the world is, you're like, oh.
Would you know, like Noah's flood? Now there is actual reference to it in just about every holy book.
Yeah.
But I mean, and people will go, yeah, but the whole world. But you got to remember, you're talking about a civilization, and the whole world was where they lived. The whole world was where they were. That was the center. People weren't sailing the 7 seas at that stage, so the whole world was where they were. And it is very possible that there was a tsunami or a flood that happened in a part of, whatever country it was. It must have been Turkey. It has to have been around that, in and around that area, isn't it? Between Turkey and Asia.
Atlantis?
No, where the flood took place.
Oh, I'm not sure.
We're getting sidetracked. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked.
I'm
getting sidetracked. I went off, and I know it's like I've said that before. I can find logic in everything. I know people will just dismiss it and go, oh my God, it sounds far. But I can find logic in that. When you think of what it was that they were aware, how aware of their surroundings they would have been, that these things are possible. And of course, it's like every story, everything is exaggerated down through the centuries.
Here's one for you. Do you think UFOs go into the sea?
Yes.
Or come out of?
I've actually thought for years and years and years that they're more likely to be coming and going there, because we know less about our oceans. It's the one place on the planet that we still haven't conquered, that we don't know. I'd say we have only maybe mastered a third of the world's oceans. We don't know what's in a lot of them, and a lot of them it's just because it's so hard to get to, etc. So yeah, I think that would be the first places they would probably go.
I've also heard Antarctica.
Yeah.
That's
we've had 2 years of a COVID pandemic. We've got a lunatic in Russia, whatever's come over him, like seriously, he can't justify what he's doing. He just can't. And it's on our doorstep. There are neighbors, it's on our doorstep, and you just think, oh, please stop, behave yourself and cut out that crap of, oh, such and such did this and such and such. I mean, to be honest, I would have been more pro-Russia than, especially during the Trump years in America. But now it's like, you just think, oh, what are you doing? What is he doing? But now I'm actually, and then now the way it's all been sort of all these things that have been leaked about UFOs, I think now I'm at the stage where if you told me that one had landed in Letterkenny, I'd be like, right, okay, fair enough. I'll see if I can get out of the weekend.
Well, I'm still doing my thing here, and I'm not gonna go out and look at that UFO. Like
No.
I kind of don't want to believe it's real because it's like what I know from movies. So, but I do believe it is real.
Well, it shocked me because as I say, before I looked at the picture, I mean, the first thing I said when I heard it is, isn't that a coincidence?
Well,
You
not
know,
even just that, but like
yeah. And the minute I saw the picture, and then I saw the sheer scale of it as well, and I thought, oh, I don't know. I really don't know. And then in the wake of that, what happened in Ukraine?
Oh yeah, exactly. Well, I wanted to show you that TikTok video because I thought it was interesting.
Right, it's actually very interesting. Very interesting.
And on topic, I suppose. I also have another video I want to show you. It's ghost related, but I'll show it to you really quickly. I have it loaded up here, so here we go. This is just a lady's house, and in her house, a poltergeist is throwing her book off her kitchen, and she decides to record it at night. So here we go.
Every single morning, these are on the floor. Every single morning. So I'm going to hook up my computer and see if I catch anything tonight. Maybe it's just rodents, but we're going to find out.
A little after 3 a.m., they slid off the counter. Like that. There's no string or anything. So
I wondered if she have a cat in a previous life?
Yeah, ghost cat.
A ghost cat up there going.
Yeah. Oh look.
That's pretty spooky. That's pretty good.
I have a big cut on my hand. It's very hard to see. My cat slashed me yesterday.
What's the mark down there?
Oh, that's my own tattoo.
How did you get that?
I got that in Thailand. You can see my scratch as well. So that's where my cat slashed me. And that is my tattoo. The
Om language.
Yeah, I got that done in many years ago, 2012, 10 years ago. So
that's the first time I noticed it. Well, we say goodbye.
Yeah.
From Haunted Hearsay.
We'll say goodbye and happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone who watches. And
yes, happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone is right here. And I want very quickly to mention Aidan and Father Donoghue. Thanks for tuning in and thanks for liking our podcast. It's much appreciated. Hope you keep watching and enjoying. To everyone else, please like, subscribe, share, do all of the above.
Yeah.
And have a happy St. Patrick's Day. And we'll talk to you all soon. We're not going to take as long a break from now on. We're sort of back. Now we're back. So we'll chat to you soon. Okay, so from Donegal and from Dublin, Hawaii, from this year.